Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an absolutely chilling account from the misty, isolated village of Shantipur. We're going to unpack a piece of source material that blends dark occult rituals, ancient Indian lore, and what has to be the most terrifying family nightmare you could possibly imagine. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
So, what exactly happens when a village's revered holy man is actually a bloodthirsty monster? Let's explore that horrifying question by following the harrowing journey of a man named Mukesh. Picture this: you reluctantly head back to your rural hometown because your grandmother is severely ill. But instead of a quiet, peaceful family reunion, Mukesh arrives to find his home totally paralyzed by fear, paranoia, and this dark curse that seemingly defies all logic.
Section 1. A village plagued by mystery. The symptoms of the supernatural.
To really understand this, we have to look at how insanely fast things escalated. Just days prior, villagers started finding their cattle completely drained of blood, with two very distinct puncture wounds right on their necks. Okay, creepy, right? Then, the night before Mukesh actually arrives, several people spot this impossibly massive bat just soaring through the foggy sky. But the true, undeniable horror hit the very next morning. The village outcast, a man known as Gaba Pagla, was found dead. His body was completely pale, entirely drained of blood.
Now, here's the absolute kicker. Just before he became the creature's very first human victim, Gaba Pagla actually ran up to Mukesh, frantically trying to warn him. He was screaming about a rocked pishash that was going to consume every last one of them. At the time, Mukesh just brushed it off. I mean, who wouldn't? But that desperate warning was about to become the essential key to understanding this entire nightmare.
Section 2. Uncovering the Blood Vampire, the grandfather's dark secret.
So Mukesh is desperate for answers, and he basically forces his way into a locked room that belonged to his missing grandfather. Now, his grandfather was known around town as a practitioner of some pretty obscure tantric arts. And inside this room, tucked away among human skulls and some seriously eerie relics, Mukesh finds this old, red-bound occult book. This ancient text held the exact horrifying truth about what was hunting his neighbors in the shadows.
And what he reads in that red book is literal nightmare fuel. It defines a rocked pishak. Essentially, it's a blood vampire born from the absolute darkest occult practices. The lore says that by performing these extreme, forbidden rituals, a practitioner is granted eternal youth and immortality. Sounds great, right? Well, the price for that is an absolute, uncontrollable, insatiable thirst for the blood of the living.
But here's where Mukesh gets a bit of luck. The grandfather's diary actually lists out the exact traits and weaknesses of the creature. It practically handed Mukesh a survival guide right when he needed it most. It confirms this rocked bishach can shapeshift into a giant bat, it hangs out in ancient cremation grounds, and it literally cannot tolerate sunlight. Plus, and this is absolutely crucial, it's repelled by garlic and is highly vulnerable to holy silver. So yeah, standard vampire rules definitely apply here. The book also meticulously breaks down how this terrible curse spreads. It's a very specific process. First, the vampire feeds on the living. Then, it offers its own cursed blood to another human to drink. And once that human drinks it, they experience this massive, unnatural surge of youthful energy before ultimately transforming into a brand new vampire themselves.
Section 3. The truth about Chode Baba. The deception in the cremation ground.
Okay, we have to talk about Chode Baba. This revered 15-year-old saint who lived in the local cremation ground had the terrified villagers completely mesmerized. Whenever they came to him panicking about the dying cattle, he'd just calmly quote philosophical verses from the Bhagavad Gita, telling them, death is not the end, it is merely the beginning of another birth. He was basically using profound spiritual wisdom as a smokescreen, hiding his sinister reality behind holy words to keep everyone calm and docile.
Brace yourselves, because here is where the story completely flips on its head. Mukesh and his uncle Mohan are digging around, and they uncover an old, faded black and white wedding photograph of Mukesh's grandfather. And when they look closely at the young man in that picture, a horrifying realization hits them. That 15-year-old saint preaching in the cremation ground, it's actually Mukesh's 80-year-old grandfather. He had pulled it off. He completed the dark ritual, became a rocked pishak, and reverted completely to his youthful form.
And suddenly, boom! Another terrifying piece of the puzzle just clicks right into place.
Remember Mukesh's sick grandmother from the beginning of the story? The one who suddenly bounded out of bed, losing 10 years of wrinkles and overflowing with energy after drinking what Choti Baba called a miraculous date palm sap? Yeah. Based on the rules in that red book, Mukesh now knows the chilling truth. That sweet, miraculous drink was actually the vampire's blood. His own grandfather was systematically trying to turn his wife into a monster so they could be immortal together. No way, right?
Section 4. The Divine Intervention. A gift from Kal Bhairav.
So, obviously the grandfather is absolutely enraged that Mukesh figured all of this out. He violently shapeshifts into that massive, shadowy bat right in front of him. Mukesh takes off, sprinting into the dense forest, literally dodging the creature's massive wings as it swoops down. His lungs are burning, he's totally exhausted, and he just blindly stumbles into an abandoned, ruined temple where he completely collapses on the cold stone floor and passes out.
While he's out cold, Mukesh has this incredibly vivid, profound vision. A dark-skinned, powerful figure with matted hair, accompanied by a black dog, appears right in front of him. This figure is the fierce deity Kal Bhairav, a protector, famously known for guarding the bounds between life and death. And Kal Bhairav gives Mukesh a really stark truth. He says, you cannot kill him, but you can save yourself and your loved ones. It's this wild moment of spiritual guidance hitting right when literally all hope seemed totally lost.
And get this, when Mukesh wakes up as the sun starts rising, he looks down and finds a literal, physical gift from that vision, resting right beside him on the temple floor. A holy silver knife. This loops perfectly back to the Red Book's lore. It gives Mukesh the exact, hyper-specific weakness he needs to actually fight back against a creature that is, for all intents and purposes, entirely immortal.
Section 5. The Final Stand. Battle at the Cremation Ground.
Armed with that holy silver and the ancient lore, Mukesh and his uncle Mohan hatch a brilliant three-step defense strategy. Step 1, they convince the entire village to hang massive sacks of freshly harvested garlic on every single door and around the necks of all the remaining cattle. This masterstroke completely starves the bat, forcing it to retreat, weak and super frustrated, back to its lair in the cremation ground. And that's exactly where Mukesh and Mohan are waiting to spring their ambush.
But, things never go exactly as planned. They sneak into the cremation ground and basically walk straight into a trap. The grandfather is just hanging upside down from a banyan tree, and right below him stands Mukesh's grandmother, holding a clay pot filled to the brim with vampire blood. The grandfather gives Mukesh a brutal ultimatum. Let her drink it, so the whole family can live together in eternal immortality, or fight, destroy the blood, and risk absolutely everything to save the village.
Mukesh makes the hardest choice of his life. He fights. He hurls that blessed silver knife, completely shattering the clay pot. The second that holy silver touches the cursed blood, the liquid literally bursts into flames. Enraged, the massive bat dives from the tree and savagely attacks Uncle Mohan. Mukesh scrambles, grabs the silver knife back, and plunges it straight into the beast. The silver instantly sears the creature's flesh, sending it shrieking away into the night sky. But man, this victory is so costly. Uncle Mohan tragically succumbs to the deep wounds inflicted by the monster's claws.
In the immediate aftermath, with the blood destroyed and the dark ritual permanently broken, the grandmother just collapses. All that youthful energy violently drains right out of her body, and she reverts back to a frail, sick old woman. The account notes that, even though Mukesh saved her from becoming a full-blown monster, she was forever scarred by the ordeal, left with a permanent, severe inability to ever tolerate sunlight again.
And that leaves us with a deeply unsettling reality, doesn't it? Sure, the bat was badly burned by the silver, but it wasn't killed. It fled into the deep forests. It leaves us to wonder, as long as the grandfather is still out there somewhere, lurking in the shadows and burdened by an eternal thirst, can the village of Shantipur ever truly sleep in peace? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you on the next deep dive.